In the olden days, the thunder and lightning dwelled on the earth amongst all the other people. However, because of their nature, the king made them leave at the far end of the town, as far as possible from other people's houses. The thunder was an old mother sheep, and the lightning was her son, a ram. Whenever the ram got angry, he used to go about and burn houses and knock down trees. He even did damage on the farms, and sometimes killed people. Whenever the lightning did these things, his mother used to call out to him in a very loud voice to stop and not to do any more damage, but the lightning did not care in the least for what his mother said, and when he was in a bad temper, used to do a very large amount of damage. At last the people could not stand it any longer and complained to the king. So the king made a special order that the sheep and her son, the ram, should leave the town and live in the far bush. This did not do much good, as when the ram got angry he still burnt the forest, and the flames sometimes spread to the farms and consumed them. So the people complained again, and the king banished both the lightning and the thunder from the earth and made them live in the sky, where they could not cause so much destruction. Ever since, when the lightning is angry, he commits damage as before, but you can hear his mother, the thunder, rebuking him and telling him to stop. Sometimes, however, when the mother has gone away some distance from her naughty son, you can still see that he is angry and is doing damage, but his mother's voice cannot be heard. A bush rat called Oyat was a great friend of Imyang, the bat. They always fed together, but the bat was jealous of the bush rat. When the bat cooked the food, it was always very good, so the bush rat asked the bat, "How is it that when you make the soup it is so tasty?" The bat replied, "I always boil myself in the water, and my flesh is so sweet that the soup becomes very good." He then told the bush rat that he would show him how it was done, so he got a pot of warm water, which he told the bush rat was boiling water, and jumped into it, and very shortly afterwards came out again. When the soup was brought, it was as strong and good as usual, as the bat had prepared it beforehand. The bush rat then went home and told his wife that he was going to make good soup like the bat's. He therefore told her to boil some water, which she did. Then, when his wife was not looking, he jumped into the pot and was very soon dead. When his wife looked into the pot and saw the dead body of her husband boiling, she was very angry and reported the matter to the king, who gave orders that the bat should be made a prisoner. Everyone began looking for the bat, but as he expected trouble, he flew away into the bush and hid himself. All day long the people tried to catch him, so he had to change his habits and only came out to feed when it was dark, and that is why you never see a bat in the daytime. Many years ago, the hippopotamus, whose name was Isantum, was one of the biggest kings on the land. He was second only to the elephant. The hippo had 7 large fat wives, of whom he was very fond. Now and then he used to give a big feast to the people, but a curious thing was that, although everyone knew the hippo, no one, except his 7 wives, knew his name. At one of the feasts, just as the people were about to sit down, the hippo said, "You have come to feed at my table, but none of you know my name. If you cannot tell my name, you shall all go away without your dinner." As they could not guess his name, they had to go away and leave all the good food and drinks behind them. But before they left, the tortoise stood up and asked the hippopotamus what he would do if he told him his name at the next feast. So the hippo replied that he would be so ashamed of himself, that he and his whole family would leave the land, and for the future would dwell in the water. Now it was the custom for the hippo and his 7 wives to go down every morning and evening to the river to wash and have a drink, and the tortoise was very aware of this custom. The hippo used to walk first, and the 7 wives followed. One day when they had gone down to the river to bathe, the tortoise made a small hole in the middle of the path and then waited. When the hippo and his wives returned, 2 of the wives were some distance behind, so the tortoise came out from where he had been hiding and half buried himself in the hole he had dug, leaving the greater part of his shell exposed. When the 2 hippo wives came along, the first one knocked her foot against the tortoise's shell and immediately called out to her husband, "Oh, Isantum, my husband, I have hurt my foot." At this the tortoise was very glad and went joyfully home, as he had found out the hippo's name. When the next feast was given by the hippo, he made the same condition about his name, so the tortoise got up and said, "You promise you will not kill me if I tell you your name?" And the hippo promised. The tortoise then shouted as loud as he was able, "Your name is Isantim," at which a cheer went up from all the people, and then they sat down to their dinner. When the feast was over, the hippo, with his 7 wives, in accordance with his promise, went down to the river, and they have always lived in the water from that day till now, and although they come on shore to feed at night, you never find a hippo on the land in the daytime.